I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to. All dance all over the world. Original King Julian, what a gift, man. I love all the girls. I love to move their body. When you move your body, you know, move it nice and sweet and sassy. All right? Woman, if you and you don't need no makeup. Original cute body makeup on bottle. You club and you don't need no makeup. Original cute body makeup on bottle. Physically fit, physically fit, physically fit, woman, physically fit, physically fit, physically fit, woman, nice, sweet, fantastic. Pretty body out in the big tight and woman, nice, sweet, energetic. Pretty body out in the big tight and woman, nice, sweet, fantastic. Pretty body out in the big tight and woman, nice, sweet, fantastic. Pretty body out in the big tight and I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to.
Very cute.
Woman cute. And you don't need no makeup. Original cute body makeup on bottom. Cute. And you don't need no makeup. Original cute body makeup on bottom. Eyeliner. When you fix a make man with up nose powder. When you fix a make man with up like your eyebrow. When you fix a make man with up got your lipstick. When you fix a make man with up woman in nice red face. And a nice hip. Break man flip and bust them lip. Woman they're nice and you get.
Hi, George. Hi,
Brian Sheehan would love that.
I like to move it, move it. He like to move it, move it. She like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. He like to move it, move it. He like to move it, move it. Move it. They like to.
Well, there I am. No.
2, 1.
Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed all of that. It's a little bit of fun to put together for this segment. So I am recording the let me get out of this one thing right here. Oh my goodness, I gotta stop this screen. I'm sorry. And I'm going to share my presentation with you. And we're all here today to learn about strides. So let me start from the beginning. Okay, so I want to welcome you all to today's presentation. My name is immediate past District Governor Michele Wyatt. And my co-host here tonight is Nanette Burdick. I made Nanette the co-host with me so she can continue to allow participants to come in. She could monitor the room. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to use the chat feature and to raise your hands, and we can go through questions because we'll have plenty of time to go over any questions that anybody has. So I want to welcome you once again to tonight's presentation on strides. So what is strides? It's a segment for Lions for Diabetes Awareness. And I'm showing you two different logos that we've had. The first one on the top, and I want to stress it, you know, LCI, Lions Club International, is going through some rebranding. And the rebranding is across the boards for everything. So the first logo on the top with that great lion and the word strides, this is the former logo that we have. The more colorful one on the bottom right here is the current logo that we are to use from LCI, Lions Club International. So let's get into it. Strides. So what is it all about? How did we get to here? So, you know, one of the goals that LCI has, one of our 5 global causes is diabetes, right? So this strides is an awareness to bring the diabetes segment up front. So some of the things, if you have diabetes, being active makes your body more sensitive to insulin. That's the hormone that allows your cells in your body to use blood sugar. So it helps you, being more active, manage your diabetes. Physical activity helps control those blood sugar levels and lowers the risk of heart disease and nerve damage. And this came directly from the disease control and prevention.gov. So we can get into a lot of how to lower your A1C. We can get into how many miles a day you should walk to cut it all down. But, you know, it's up to the individual on what they can do. What we're here today to talk about is the Strides program. And there is a segment that you could bring all of the diabetes up front with it when you have your walkathon. So Strides, what is it? It's an event. It's an event that you can have. It could be any physical event, from a 5K to a 1K to a run, to a dance competition. I've seen online that people have done biking, they've done hiking, they've done all different kinds of challenges. And it's to get you moving, right? It's to bring that awareness of, you know, getting your heart rate up, lowering your blood sugar levels. So it opens that door to an awareness to promote the importance of physical activity in the management of your type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So once again, you're not limited to just walking. Like I said, I saw out west a club they were promoting on Facebook, a bicycling promotion for diabetes. It was great because it was open to the entire family. You know, kids were doing it, some adults were doing it, and it's just wonderful. So I just wanted to bring some additional things that maybe somebody hasn't thought about. You know, weightlifting, aerobics, yoga. Yoga is great for resetting one's spirit and mind and just balancing us all together. You know, and it's a different type of exercise that is becoming very popular lately. So how does this all start? How do you get to do a Strides event? The first thing you need to do is you need to form a team. You need to get people together who are willing to put in some time and some work to do an event. Okay, it doesn't happen overnight. This is, you know, a 4 to 6 month period where you're planning out such a successful event. So the second thing you need to do is set your fundraising goal. What is it you're looking to achieve? You need to be specific. Okay, if you're not specific, you're not going to achieve what you've set out to met. So are you specific and you want to involve 5 people? Are you specific you want to involve 100 people? What are your goals, right? How much money do you want to raise, right? So these are some of the specific measurable things that you're going to want to do. You want to sit down with your team and set some smart goals. So you want to be specific about them. You want to be able to measure them. And measure them is, you know, we're setting out to bring awareness to maybe 10 people, maybe to one geographic area. Have you met that goal, right? Have you opened the door of awareness to that one area? Is this goal attainable? You know, you set out some goals. You might say, oh, we want to raise $100,000. But is that goal really attainable? Have you ever raised $100,000 before doing an event? You might want to take it a step back and say, let's raise $5,000. Is that goal attainable? You know, it might be on the higher spectrum, but it might be manageable if you had a long-term event, you know, something that went on for more than just one day. it may be attainable. Is this relevant? You talk about Lions and what we do, and we do bring awareness to a lot of different people about a lot of different areas, and bring in diabetes awareness is very relevant to our causes, and it's relevant to a lot of us. I know if I have a show of hands here, how many people out here know somebody, or maybe even has diabetes, know somebody even, right? So there's a lot of us here today. I see a lot of hands. Almost everybody has raised their hand, know somebody where diabetes has affected them one way or another, right? And sometimes it's life-changing. And I know from my own perspective, my mother had diabetes and it went uncontrollable for many years. And it's what really led to her passing away, because she could not manage it and take care of those levels. So having a Strides Walk, bringing in resources for people to take a better look at diabetes, is a great opportunity to make a difference in a lot of people who may not even know that diabetes is affecting maybe them or maybe someone that's close to them. And then the other thing I brought in, a little graph here. A lot of us like to talk about, is it measurable and how are we doing? These graph charts that are out there are really great to show the public and everybody just how close you are to your goals. And the last thing when you set your fundraising goal is, you need to educate the people. Where is this money going? There's a lot of different organizations out there who do research, diabetes research, and you could partner with them. And we're going to get into that a little bit later in our conversation. The second thing that you need to do with your team is you need to come up with a timeline, and just how long it's going to take you to plan out your event. Typically, a walkathon or a half K takes about 4 to 6 months to plan. Okay. And what you want to do is sit down with your team, and you need to figure out where you're going to hold it, right? Are you going to have it at a park? Are you going to do it in conjunction with the town folks? Maybe do it on some street levels. Are you going to do it on some biking trails, right? The ideas are really open on what you can do and where you can have it. How many volunteers do you need to run an event? All of this needs to get worked out with your team. Publicity is a huge part of this. You need to really publicize it. And I'm going to talk a lot about publicity because it could really make or break an event if it's not done correctly. A lot of people will say, all we need to do is hang up a couple of flyers, right? And people will come to our events. Well, that's not all you need to do anymore, because you need to reach you're looking to reach as many people as possible. So what you also need to do, set it up on Facebook, find social media, find the media. The media is great. And sometimes they always don't come to our events, but keep inviting them, because at some point they will come to your event and they will stream it live on TV, or they will put an ad in the newspaper article for you. And it does make a whole difference on the way your event will run. So don't take any shortcuts. And on here, you're going to see that I have a whole bunch of social media links. You have to find the group of people that you're looking for. And with diabetes, it affects everybody. Okay? Not only the older people, not only the middle-aged people. We know from being Lions that it affects children as well. So you need to find a streaming source to get this information to them, to make sure that they're included. And where do the kids go nowadays? To their phones. They're hooked to those devices. So if you're going to broadcast and you want those kids to come to your event, you're going to find them on social media. So where are they? Not so much on Facebook, right? So you're going to find somebody my age on Facebook. You're going to find some of them 15 to 20-ish on Twitter, on Instagram. The next one with the bird over there, that's Twitter. You're going to get some of the younger kids, right? School age kids. TikTok, they hang out there. I'm going to tell you, they're there all the time. And the next three on the bottom are professionals. You're not really going to find the kids there. But the other ones that I don't have on there is Snapchat. Snapchat is another tool to contact and tell kids there's an activity that's coming up. These are some of the social media tools that the schools actually use to reach out to kids. And a lot of them have started using more and more of them, especially since COVID, because they know that's where the kids hang out. Also, when doing such an event, how are you taking your payments, right? So when you talk your time frame and you talk with your committee, you know, a lot of people went cashless during COVID. You know, has your club gone cashless? Some of the things that we need to think about if we're trying to bring in some people to attend our 5K, our Strides Walk, you know, it's a different avenue to think about and something that your club should consider. So we're going to talk about promote, and then promote some more. I can't tell you enough that 1 or 2 times right into the newspaper is going to be enough. We're talking about a timeline of 4 to 6 months to put on a Strides Walk until you get to that event. Okay, till you get to the day of the event, you need to have it in the newspapers all the time, from 4 to 6 months. And I know doing some of the events through some of the clubs that I've dealt with, the newspapers will run consecutive events for us if we ask them to. I know sometimes they'll skip a segment once or twice, but they will pick it back up. And I've had it happen to me when I was doing the publicity for my club, the Colchester Lions, and they did pick it back up when they had ample space for us. And they did put those articles in there. So you can never have too much publicity. Reach out to everybody. I would put flyers in our town. And if you're doing a big event, such as this, if you're looking to get 100 people, I would put it in the surrounding towns as well. Please do ask the club presidents to make sure that it is okay to do that. Partnerships. So one of the big things that, you know, I want to stress is partnerships, because with the Strides Walk also comes the awareness that we need to do a little bit of education for the diabetes awareness. You know, and LCI, Lions Club International, has done a great job partnering with a lot of different organizations. The Diabetes Research and Wellness Foundation, National Research Group, you know, Feeding America. This is all related to certain things in the diabetes realm. The other thing I want you to consider a partnership with is the ones in the state of Connecticut. We have great resources right here at our fingertip to help you pull off, you know, your Strides Walkathon. We have the University of Connecticut Health Center, who we do already partner with, our YMCA camp that we have for children's diabetes once a year at Can't Miss. And I'm sure that they would come and help put out some publicity and do some diabetes prevention with you. We have great resources with JDRF. Last year, District 23C actually, through Yale, New Haven, gave them District 23C, JDRF, $10,000 for some research. And just recently, this past fall, that man that we gave the research to was on the news saying that money was helping. And they're very close to finding that little segment that they were looking for. And it is food insensitive. So our money that we donated is going to a very good cause. So I just want you to think about partnering with these organizations. So when you go through your diabetes stride, a lot of us have done events, right? We know what it takes to do events. You have to gather your team together, right? Everyone takes a little piece of it. You have to publicize it, right? And then you have the day of the event. The day of the event, is sometimes a blur to a lot of people. Strides Walks typically is a one-day event. You usually go, and it's more, a lot of us are familiar with Journey for Sight that we do. Strides Walk is along the same lines of that. You have a lot of planning for a one day event, but this, you could raise a lot of money for research. So I want you to tell you that, it's not over just at your event. I want you to celebrate your event. I want you to thank all your supporters. I want you to be specific on how much money you raised, where the money is being donated, and how many people the resources will serve. Make sure the final thing you do is to report your project in my LCI. So we're going to talk about some Strides events. And, when I was going through my presentation, a lot of us already do a lot of big events. So I wanted to know, how can I really bring it down to what a lot of organizations, what a lot of other Lions clubs around the world are doing. So when I looked at this event for this presentation, I went out to social media and I found out what everybody else who were doing these events well were doing. So here is one that was done last year. It was Strides for Diabetes, and this is a website that, here's the link right up here. It's the .gov/event Strides event. So if I can send those links out and you can look at it, this was a whole website that you can register for their event. They have several different events going on. They had a biking event, they had a walkathon, they had a 5K run, and then they had a half marathon. It was really well done through this Lions group. And the biggest thing that I saw that I really liked over here was their personal stories. They had actual stories from people with diabetes, what this event meant to them, right? Where this money was going to go. And then they had, a button there for donate now, but they also showed people how much money they were raising at that time. Here's some other events that I found. The Lions Club of Candor, of course, they're overseas, but they do a yearly Strides event, and they raise some good money there. Diabetes Walk, they've done this in the middle of the US, and that was another great one. Here's one that was just last year. It was at the library, the Strides Walk, taking steps to fight diabetes. I don't know too much about this one, but as you see, it came up with a $10 donation, but that went right to LCIF and to their diabetes funds. But once again, they told people where everything was going. So on this page, we have Strides for Diabetes Awareness. This one on the top corner in yellow and blue was a scavenger hunt. It was done more recently. They had a whole Facebook page just designated just to their Strides event. And it was very well. It was very successful. The 5K, virtual 5K that they did, once again, they went virtual. And it was a great success. So a lot of the events that we've taken and we've gone to have been through USA Canada. And I know, Nanette, you have done them in the past. And a few of us have, right? So usually what happens at these events, you get a shirt, right? You pay a $25 fee. to walk the event, and you get a shirt, right? So this is one of the shirts that we have gotten in the past, right? And everyone has put their shirts on to show that they're walking for the Strides Walk, right? And the rest of the money would go out to research. And there is a path to follow. And usually at the end of the walk, you get a luncheon, right? Now, not all of that is necessary, but that is stuff that your team would have to work out, right? But if you're promoting, you know, diabetes education, right? After you walk a lot, you're supposed to have some water and a nutritious snack, right? Because that's what the Diabetes Association says to us. So you should offer some kind of fruit, water, granola bars, right? But also that's where your partners would come into play, because they might provide that as well and offer that nutritious snack at the end. A couple of years ago, when COVID was just finishing off and we were at USA Canada out in Des Moines, we did not have a walkathon with a regular shirt. What we were given was a new blue shirt. I don't know if you can see this one. Yep, there you go. Strides 21, right? So COVID is coming out. We're back at USA Canada. They did a scavenger hunt, and what they used was this goose chase, right? This goose chase was an app on your phone, okay? And what the goose chase did was it told you, okay, you need to complete all of these little segments. And they had like 30 segments to do, right? One of them was walking around. We had to go and do, it was almost a 1.5 mile walk, right? And you had to have your phone on, and the app on the phone traced things around, right? It knew exactly where you started, knew exactly where you end. So it can trace that you did walk those miles. They had other parts of it in there as well, because they wanted to keep you moving all around. So they had a segment in there where you had to go find a certain piece of art in the community. You had to go meet certain people. You had to take pictures. You had to answer a whole bunch of questions. And, you know, they tallied it all up at the end. And at the end, the people who did the most in a certain time frame, I think they gave us 3 days to do it in, all were entered into a drawing, right? It was really a great, different way of doing and expressing an awareness for diabetes through an app. And then the app is, there is a little bit of a fee to it, but most clubs can do this, right? They can design this app to work around their communities and get people out there moving. It's something different to look at. So that is what we have for our presentation for today. The Diabetes Strides Walk, it is what you can design it for. And it's really at your discretion and at your team's discretion how far you want to walk, how long you want to have this, how many days you want to have this, the time frame of the event. It's just like anything that you would put together at your club. So there is a lot of openness to it, and you get to decide a lot about how this event is planned. You know, at this time, I think there's some questions, Nanette. So I'd like to make it so people can unmute themselves and maybe ask a question or two.
Okay, I see Nancy McDonald and George Finlayson. George, have your hand up?
Yes.